Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another First Descendant video. So we got the dev stream earlier today, the February dev stream introducing Daya and the contents of episode 3 starting on the 5th of February. So they first showed the content roadmap for the 3 months, 3 months of this episode, so February, March and April. So we have some interesting stuff coming up. They focused mostly on February, of course. So we have Daya, we have the new episode, The Unveiled Truth, we have the Underwater Base, 2 new weapons. We have trigger modules and the ultimate weapons that go with the trigger modules. We have the monthly balance for Gley, weapon rebalance for Clairvoyance and Hammer and Anvil. Infernal Walker comes back for the Abyss. We have something called HQ Standing and Special Orders. This is to help do some missions to unlock Descendants and the dog and things like that. We have the second boost path for new and returning players and research acceleration, and you can now research things from your app on the phone. So this is a big change. Of course, we have skins and improvements to the trade market. March, we have another infiltration operation, another weapon, looks like a sword again. Keelan gets another Transcendent module. Sharon gets a rework. This is surprising because Sharon is pretty good right now. Abyss Walker, the Ice Maiden returns. Again, more improvements and things like that. April, we get the beta mode for Onslaught. And then, of course, when episode 4 starts in May, they'll have the full version, let's say, of this Onslaught mode. Ines gets another Transcendent module. Viesa gets another balance. Again, Viesa is pretty good. So I guess she just really needs range. But yeah, so these are the contents for the 3 months for this episode. Now let's talk about Daya and some of the things I noticed with her skills. All right, so first up with Daya, you can see we have the chill and fusion reactors. So in the base stats without the ancestors modules, with the base skills, she had 3 of her skills being fusion and chill, and the second skill was fusion and singular. They are using the Polar Night set with Daya because of her being a chill descendant. And also notice there is no MP here. She has the custom resource called Delight. Now there are several descendants that don't use MP. Gley doesn't use MP, Harris, Keelan, Kyle. So these people don't use MP. But unlike Gley, she does have shields here. Now looking at her passive skill, she gets an increase to her crit rate by holding a melee weapon. And basically this is based on the HP that she has. So in this example, when they were showing the test build, they had 30,000 HP on Daya, which means 39% critical hit rate. You can get a maximum of 45% crit rate with HP. And they only used emergency measures and front lines, and they were getting 100% critical hit rate. They were not using the nodes in the arcade tuning or an ancestors module, things like that. So yeah, so getting her to max crit rate should be straightforward, sort of similar to Ines basically. So you get crit rate increase with HP. You don't seem to have another passive damage or something. So yeah, so we use the HP to increase the crit rate. So this is going to be interesting. Basically, you need to hold the weapon, the melee weapon. Now, looking at her build they have in the test build, it looks pretty straightforward. So we have the 2 modules here, emergency measures and frontlines, and then we have the skill concentration to increase the crit damage. They have focus on fusion, focus on chill, nimble fingers, MP conversion, 2 mods for HP to increase the HP. And they're using the stem accelerant because again, she doesn't use MP, so the loss of MP is not an issue here. There is basically no downside to this build here. We are not losing skill power modifier, we are not losing MP or anything that is important. So a very simple, very straightforward build. 1 range module here. So yeah, so you can see this is pretty much the build we will be working on. As for the ancestors module, chill power boost ratio, fusion power boost ratio, crit damage, those will be the things you need. You don't really need crit rate on the ancestors module either. Then we have the 2 transcendent modules, chill brand and blooming ecstasy. They did not seem to change things too much. Her skills are basically you use the first skill to dash forward and basically do damage and impale the enemy, and she gains custom resource when she does that. The second skill increases her critical hit damage and also increases the speed which she can use the first skill with. And then the third skill, this is a toe effect, so bunches the enemies together, and then you can use the first skill to attack them. Fourth skill, basically she launches her spear forward, and this slows down as it gets closer to the enemies and does a bunch of damage to elites and things like that. So skill 1, skill 3, and skill 4 are fusion type, and skill 2 is singular, so that's why we will be using the fusion reactor. Now I'll make a separate video going over her reactors, what to farm, and also the external component. They were using the Polar Knight set here. I'm not 100% sure if we will be using that as well, but if there isn't another external component set dropping, then we can farm the Polar Knight, and I'll show you the roles that you want, because again, we don't want the MP roles here. So yeah, overall, I think Daya looks pretty good, pretty easy to build and pretty easy to use. Could say similar to Harris and maybe even easier to use, because with Harris, you have to build up the defense and stuff like that. Here is a lot more simpler. Next up, they showcase some of the skins they are adding for Daya. So this is the Red Rider skin that will be a free login reward on day 21 of the new event. They also had the sort of medical outfit she had when she was recovering. They also have the Oblivion Commander skin over here, and this will be, I think, the premium skin, because they did not mention this will be free. The medical outfit will be free in the battle supply shop. So this, I think, is going to be the paid one. Next, they showcase the dungeon, the new dungeon, the underwater base. And yeah, she looks very powerful, very strong, and the director cleared this dungeon in less than 5 minutes without an ancestors mode. So you can see she can take out the ships here as well. Most of the dungeon is, obviously, most of the mission is inside the dungeon here, but there is a little bit of a section outside, similar to, you could say, the Supermassive Receptor dungeon. So over here, this is the infiltration operation. So it's in the top left of the Axian Plains map, and you can see the enemy levels are level 400, Legion of Immortality. You know what that means. That means Freyna is going to destroy this dungeon. So yeah, so this one, level 400, the same as Supermassive Receptor and the Forbidden Sanctuary. So the enemies are not going to get stronger, and so at least it stays consistent with where we are. So yeah, so this will be really good for, I think, Daya and Freyna. So yeah, with this dungeon, most of the fighting was inside, and it looked interesting. Has the similar pattern of the Vulgus dungeons, I guess. But yeah, it seemed like there are more traveling sections in this one, and maybe not as many enemies. At least that's what it felt to me looking at this gameplay. But yeah, using her and movement and things is quite straightforward here. It looks quite smooth. Next up, we have two new weapons. So first up is the E-Buster. Now this is basically designed for Ines. Ines tends to struggle with the Elise using just her skills. So we were using the Shadow. They have designed this one to help her with that. So this is, I think, perfect. They have been making new weapons or balancing the old weapons to synergize with certain descendants. We had the Fallen Hope for Freyna, and now we have this one for Ines. So Ines should be back in business. They also had the event skin equipped on Ines, the maid skin, the cleaning service thing. And this is, I think, day 35 of the login event. This is the Eye of the Typhoon. This is a beam rifle. This is the Battle Pass weapon. And this is, again, a beam rifle where you can change the firing mode, so you can shoot at multiple enemies. So as you can see here, you can shoot at multiple enemies, and also using the aim button, the right click on the mouse, basically, you can also switch to a single target mode where you can do a lot of damage to one enemy instead of shooting the beam at multiple enemies. So yeah, it looks pretty good and pretty strong, and they had the huge damage numbers in the screen here. So yeah, not a bad gun. Both the weapons look fairly good for what they are. Normally when they have multiple weapons, we only really get one good weapon. The others are a bit lackluster, but at the moment these two both look good, and also the upcoming changes to the couple of weapons also looked really good. So this is the switching over to the single target mode here. Next up is the Battle Pass, and as usual we have various items, emotes and things like that. The reward at the end, the skin, the universal skin, I think these are pretty good. These are like the officer type skins in honor of Alpha. So yeah, I think both of them look pretty good here. So you have the male skin, the common male skin, and you have the female skins. So yeah, I think both of them look pretty good. Next up, we have the trigger modules. So we have focus and expansion for Gley, icebreaker for Daya, and overcharge shield for Kyle. Then we have the ultimate modules. These are basically to go with the previous trigger modules. They tend to do that. So lucky coin goes with Two-Face and things like that. Next up, we have Gley, and they have made some interesting changes to her as well. Basically, her non-frenzy state will recover her HP better. They've made changes to her skills and how she uses her fourth skill with the different modules. So I think we can have multiple good setups for Gley. So I can't wait to get started to see how she works. Notice they're using the infected weapon here for her fourth ability. And yes, it's been a while since we used her skills. So I'm looking forward to this. While we farm for Daya, I'll be working on Gley. So yeah, look forward to that. Now we have a minor balance change to Kyle as well. They have increased his synchronization values and some tweaks to his superconductor bombing. Less damage, but more bombing, let's say. Similarly, we have some more synchronization value changes. Now, if you remember my Haley build from not too long ago, I did say that Haley's synchronization was very low. So they are going to increase that. Some changes. Gley gets a rework, so her synchronization value goes down a bit. Lepik and Ajax, Kyle and Luna, Nell and Haley all get their synchronization values up. So all their transcendent modules will have higher values now. Then we have the monthly balance update for Clairvoyance and Hammer and Anvil. The Hammer and Anvil looks really crazy now. So yeah, again, I can't wait to try this because we haven't touched this since this gun came out. Now, Infernal Walker returns. This is the Abyss Colossus. We had the first one we got back in December 24 when Keelan launched. And they did say they will adjust the difficulty of the boss to current standards, because when the boss first came out, the Descendants were not as strong. We did not have all the systems. We did not have the arcade tuning, mutant cell, trigger modules, ancestors modules, things like that. So if they kept the boss at the old level, it would have been too easy. So they are going to buff this. And they said they will be adding the skins and the Colo toy back. And so the Descendants that were not released at the time, they will update these skins for those Descendants. So basically Inez, Serena, Nell, Harris, and Daya. So 5 of these Descendants will be added. So you'll get the skin here for the female Descendants. We haven't had a new male Descendant, so those will be the same. So if you did not farm the skins back then, you can get them. And if you did get all of them, then you can get the remaining ones here. Next up, we have this thing here called the HQ Standing Orders and HQ Special Orders with Eckert. And this one seems very interesting to me because this is, again, mostly designed for newer players. And you have these missions that rotate every 72 hours. And depending on the mission, you can target certain things and get certain items. So restore Vesper's communication. So you can target one of these Freyna pieces and then go and do the mission, and you'll get that item. And then you can do it multiple times until you get all 4 pieces. So I think this is, again, designed to reduce the grind of getting the Descendants first. These are the original old Descendants, these sort of amorphous material ones, I guess. So yeah, so we have some interesting options here. And again, as long as it streamlines the process, and basically you'll have some fresh new missions to do with different rewards. I don't know how many of these will be useful for veteran players and if they have something similar for veteran players. But yeah, I would like some sort of playlist like this with different missions to do over a 3-day period. So you have another set of options here where you can get the dog. Then we have the new boost path. Again, they said they have improved things, and this should help new people understand the game and do the missions and unlock guns and things like that. So you can see over here. So we had this one here. Hopefully this time it's a bit better, and you can get Ultimate Bunny. You can get the Thunder Cage at level 50, I think. But anyway, definitely useful for players under Mastery rank 12. Some other minor quality of life changes and improvements. They added the feature to visit other people's lounges. Again, at the moment, launch doesn't have too many features, so they said this would be there. I don't know if you can turn it off or if people can randomly go into their friends' lounges or not. It's a bit of a strange thing. Companion app improvements. This is very important because now we can research from the companion app. So now you can start research from your phone without having to log into the game, collect the items, start another research. this is going to be very, very handy for the crystallization catalyst, because for me, I try to do 2 to 3 catalysts every day. So yeah, but yeah, this is a big, big deal in my opinion, the ability to research things in the app. By the way, the app will be available, I think, on the 6th, like a day later, because they said with the PlayStation, Play Store and other things, it takes a little while to get everything cleared. For the trade market, they've added a few more things like colors to the different skills, and also you can search with the different stats and things like that. So that should also help here. Next up, they had some skins for the different descendants. We have one for Gley. This is, I think, called the Dancing Knights, I think. So Luna, Gley, Serena, Harris, and there was one other descendant somewhere here. Ines, sorry. So these will be the individual skins coming on the 5th. They also had skins for the motorbike. I liked this one for the Vortex. I think this looks pretty good. There's also one for the Orca. These look really nice again. Yeah, I may end up just buying the skins for the bikes because they look much nicer to me. So this is for the Orca. This is called the Honeybee or something. And to me, this looks like a Pokemon with the ears. A premium skin for Ajax. And they said this was originally designed as for the Hound members, but they made some tweaks. I don't know if it matches Ajax, but yeah, this is for Ajax. Another one for Gley. Again, lower accurate, as they mentioned here. There are returning skins, the Lunar New Year skins. So the Valentine set has returned, and they did not have updates to the new descendants that were added. So I'm not expecting things to change here. With the male descendants, because there haven't been new descendants added, you can get this and use it on all the male descendants. But once again, these came out in January after Ines came out. So Serena, Nell, Harris, Daya. Those descendants should not be here unless they surprise us and add them here. Next up, we have the Cowboy and the Gunslinger skins. So you have the common skin for the male descendants. They have Esimo here modeling that one. We have one for Bunny. This one caused a lot of confusion from the concept art. Some people are guessing this is Harris or something. This is actually Bunny with the red hair. I think it looks all right. Next, they had one for Sharon. I think this looks pretty good. You would expect something like this in, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption or something. But yeah, this is for Sharon. Sharon's been getting some good skins, I guess. So yes, this is the one for her. Next up is this one for Serena. As usual, Serena gets a lot of skins. My initial guess was this was Daya, but this turns out to be Serena. Next, we have Nell with another sort of cowboy type outfit. And then one for Daya. They also showed the concept here for some ninja outfits. I forgot when these were coming out. I think these are also coming out in February. And they said there's Valby, Viesa, Sharon, Reina, and Daya. So I think these are the skins, the ninja themed skins, let's say. Again, looks interesting from the concept art. Then they also briefly showcased the skins coming up in March and April. These are the concepts. This one is a premium skin for Freyna. I think this looks pretty good. I might actually go for this one over any of the others because the others are not that interesting. The skins from the first anniversary contest where the users sent in their skin designs, they are going to also release in March, the doggo skins. And also we have this something cocktail or something, Jazz Nights, I think they called it. So again, I don't remember all the people here that are getting this skin. And then later in April, they have like a sports themed skin set. So yeah, so these will be March and April. I'm basically looking forward to this one. And then we have the login events. So as usual, you will have the daily mission events where you have to do missions and things like that to get rewards. And they mentioned that if you play 15 minutes daily, you can get an Ancestors module. So that is pretty good. And of course, you have the new player and the returning player events and things like that. We also have the weekend boost. So different missions will give you more XP, more gold and things like that. We also have the accelerate research. So you start research and then you do some missions which will reduce your research time. So they showed off the different missions, and you can see if you do the Kingston normal Magister Lab, you're reducing the time by 150 seconds. Normal, who plays normal these days? And then if you go hard, you can save more time. So various missions, and I think this is a good idea, and this should be something permanent. This will be there for 3 weeks. I think if they can make this permanent, it will be very handy. Most of us will be rushing to the mission that gives the most time or saves the most time, let's say. So yeah, this is, I think this is a good idea. I like this. You can see here the Axion planes over here. I like to run the first creator a lot, and 250-second research time reduction. This one has 300 emergency deployment zone. Interesting. So yeah, so a lot of missions will give you a lot of different time reduction on your research. Then we have the returning player event. So you'll get Inez on day 2 and a bunch of rewards. You'll also have a new player event where you'll again get Inez on day 2 and also Ancestors module, I think, on day 14. Yeah, this one here. And yeah, this is also pretty handy. Inez is very powerful, and now with the new weapon, our only weakness is also kind of sorted. So yeah, definitely get Inez. I might cover this for a new player's guide or something when the season starts. Then, of course, we have the main login event for existing players, let's say. So this is the 42-day event. And on day 21, like we talked about earlier, there's the skin for Daya and one for Inez on day 35. Also, they're starting something where every weekend, the cost of the superconductive cooling will be 50% at the weekends. So similar to how we get the boost at the weekends, they're also going to reduce the cost of the cooling. I think this is also a good move. So you could collect all the superconductive during the week, and over at the weekend, you start re-rolling and save some of the cooling units. They're also going to add the game to the Xbox Play Anywhere. So if you're an Xbox player and you log in to the app on PC, you can continue and play the game. I don't really know what the logic here is, but again, I'm not an Xbox player. I thought this game already had cross play and cross save. So yeah, let me know what you think if you're an Xbox player. After that, they did the usual Q&A. Honestly, I can't be bothered with this. There are a lot of very spammy people. They don't seem to do anything about them. But basically, one of the things we discovered here is the next Descendant in Season 4, when Ultimate Haley is coming out, will be another female Descendant called Raven. And they said this Raven will be a brand new Descendant, not an NPC or anything, so brand new. So yeah, so looking forward to that as well. Then they also talked about a few other things, mostly the usual player numbers and things like that. But yeah, not much value here, the Q&A section. So yeah, so that is basically the dev stream. For me, the fact that you can now research your items in the app, this is, I think, fantastic. I really like that. I'm looking forward to the Gley rework because, again, we already have Gley, so I'll be trying to figure that out as soon as possible. I already have a lot of catalysts in Gley as well. Like, I think I've already put 50 in Gley, so that should be a very straightforward build. They also mentioned that Daya can be farmed in the new dungeon and in Sigma sector. So I'll see how that works, because if it's Sigma sector, that shouldn't be too bad. You can mix things up a little bit. And the new dungeon is not going to be significantly more difficult because, again, the enemies are still level 400 unless they do something special with the bosses, which did not seem like it based on the gameplay they showcased here. So overall, I'm okay with most of the changes here. Some people did say that there aren't too many things for existing players in the login events and things like that. I could sort of see their logic here, but we do have the big login event for the existing players, and I think that the skin for Daya from the login event is actually better than some of the premium ones. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Overall, I'm happy. Plenty to do, and I don't think there are any new systems. At least I did not see anything here. In the table of contents, they mentioned an external component set here, but I don't remember them mentioning it in the live stream. So I don't know if there is one or if there is, that was just an oversight. If there is one, we'll farm it. Obviously, maybe it is for Daya. Otherwise, I'll try and make a video going over the reactor you need for Dia and the external component and the rules you want on that. So yeah, so that is it. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, 2 more days to go and we can check out the new episode.